Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friday episode called One Good Question. This is 50% Facts, where we answer your question in 10 minutes or less, hopefully. If you want to get involved, you got to join our Discord. What you do is go to 50percentfacts.com. There's a link to our Discord. Discord is kind of like a Reddit meets WhatsApp meets group chat. You get exclusives on our apparel, some discounts here and there, first look in a like-minded community, and you can also join the Friday episodes. So what you do is you scroll to the left. There's a couple groups there. There's group chat where everyone's chatting. Then One Good Question. That's made for you to ask us anything you want. Fitness, business, doesn't really matter. Just ask one question. If you're chosen, you'll be featured like today. And today we got Silent Killer, I think. It's K-I-L-R.
Okay.
I think that's how I'd say it. And the question is, how important is glute activation warm-ups prior to squatting or deadlifting? Now, this conversation could be very short, and I could say something like, nah, because I think this stuff's like really popular in a lot of sports-specific training nowadays, a little bit of powerlifting, but even like bodybuilding, when you talk about like pre-exhaustion, and people do like pec deck to really tire their pecs, so then when you bench, you're going to actually work your pecs more. I don't know the exact pure science on like waking up muscles, but what I can tell you is muscles don't sleep, and so whatever you're trying to activate, they're not deactivated. Just because you don't feel them doesn't mean they're not working. Literally, to extend your elbow, your triceps must be activated. Nothing else can move them. You got to think of your muscles more like fancy ropes with like knobs and like fulcrums. Like they can't move without it. So if you're extending your hips and actually standing tall, your glutes have to work. You can't do that without it. It's physically impossible. Now, if you feel them, or if they don't have a lot of blood in them, that's a different story. And so if you want to activate them, I guess you can, but there's no necessary process to do that. It's just literally not going to help. Now, the mind-muscle connection when building muscle is slightly different. There may be some benefits there where you really be able to fatigue a certain muscle group while feeling it better, but the truth is if you go to failure on curls, chances are you're going to work your biceps either way. The only other study I do know on the pre-exhaustion stuff, which is slightly different than the activation, but pre-exhaustion actually works the opposite way. So if you do pec deck before you bench press, it's going to negate your pectoral activation in the bench press. And now, because it's tired, your triceps are going to work more. So you're actually doing the exact opposite of what you thought you were doing.
Yeah, that paradoxical reaction, that's pretty critical. I think that early on in the early days of this program, I believe that Jordan Shallow said exactly why do you need a glute med pump before you do anything else.
Well, and that's the truth too, is when people do all those activations, they're doing their glute med, which is probably not what you're trying to do.
No, I think that I think it's not that people's fucking glutes are not activated. I think it's that they're not making that connection in their brain.
Right.
And really that's a beat. It's a beat before you squat. As you're getting set up, you think about, okay, just pinch them together a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you're thinking about how they're moving.
Yeah, and even that though, like it depends on your goals, but if you're doing like strength training and you're handling loads in the 70, 80, 90%, which you should be frequently, you don't feel muscles when you power lift.
Yeah.
So like, and then again, going back to the hypertrophy, like it may have some things to do with it, but if you do RDLs till failure, your ass is going to work if you do them with like semi-proper form. Like your form doesn't have to be perfect, but if you do semi-proper form and you just lock out your hips when you're doing them, they're going to work. So for hypertrophy, it's not like necessary, quote unquote. And then in powerlifting or strength training, I've never thought about a muscle my entire life.
Yeah.
I think about like a movement, or like all my cues are movement based. So it's like stand tall or like lean back or push my hips forward. But it's not like necessarily like Joe Stanek answered it in the Discord just because he probably got pissed off at the question. And he was also recently doing a Q&A on like worst cues or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And like he was obviously trying to be entertaining and fun because all cues, like it's kind of like questions in my opinion. Like, yeah, there are dumb questions, but but every dumb question helps at least one person.
Yeah.
Like
sometimes it's one dumb person.
Yeah, you may be stupid, but it's And so I think cues are like that too. I don't think there's like bad cues.
Yeah.
I think there's bad cues for the masses.
Right.
But that's the idea of a coach, is like a coach may be able to communicate a single cue to you, and it may sound dumb to other people, but if it connects with you, it works. And one he threw out there was just like people screaming body parts, which is true, right? Like you're deadlifting, and you're like, glutes.
It's like, how could you not?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're probably just not thinking that. And it's probably not going to do anything. Like, you're pulling for your fucking life. Like, your eyes are popping out of your head. Your forehead's all wrinkled. You're just thinking about pulling. I'm not thinking about my glutes in that moment.
Yeah. I think that, I think it's overcomplicating things largely just to have something to say.
Yeah, just go for a walk. Like, if you actually warm shit up, go for a walk. If you have a lower body day, I suggest walking, biking, assault biking, 10 minutes, kind of hard. Then do some like body weight lunges where you're actually like taking nice steps. You're standing up tall on that leg before going into your next step. And you'll probably wake up whatever the fuck muscles you think are sleeping.
I think in general, too, that when you're lifting, like being aware of your proprioception improves your form. How else do you improve your form?
Yeah, and that's what good form is too. If you're talking about like what body parts to work, it's based on good form. So like with a bicep curl is just the easiest one because everyone does it. So if you're bicep curling and you're lifting your bicep a lot, now you're actually training your delt, right? So yeah, good form. You have like your elbows kind of pinned by your side, and the only movement's coming from the elbow joint itself, not the shoulder joint. Now you're going to work your biceps.
Right.
Again, if you feel it or not, well, that kind of plays a role because that maybe means you're using improper form, but chances are if you do them enough and often, you'll find good form. The only way to find good form and wake shit up too is by doing it more often. It's not by doing all this other bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Like you want to feel your glutes in a deadlift. If your goal is to grow big glutes, then just like deadlift more or RDL more. It's not going to be doing all this weird shit on the side to then improve this. If you want to improve something, you got to go direct to it. You can't be beating around the bush to improve. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's drills and stuff, but that's all sports. You want to get better at fucking shooting free throws? You should shoot a lot of free throws. You don't got to go shoot threes. Yeah, if you get better at threes, you might get better at free throws. But if you want to particularly get better at free throws, get better at free throws. So if you want to get better at deadlifts or glute activation in the deadlifts, just deadlift more.
Yeah, I know you can't really argue with that point. Since we have a little bit of time yet, I'm going to rant about something that I have noticed a lot lately on Instagram, and that's ads for shoes that say they're ultra wide, but they're not. Like, if you think that 4E is a really wide shoe, or 2E is a really wide shoe, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's probably just compared to like the 90s. Even my foot's medium, and I feel like the 90s, every shoe was like hella narrow.
Yeah, like I could never wear Nikes because they were way too.
But now they're not that crazy. They were for a second, I feel like.
Yeah, but still, like my toes get jammed up. Even these are fucking Skechers. They're supposed to be slip-ins. I thought, I'll travel in them.
Yeah,
because then like go to other countries, the airports, you have to take your shoes off, shit like that. It's like the whole recombobulation process of putting all your shit back on there after you've had to go through the security thing. I at least have my shoes on fast, right? So I buy these things thinking that they're going to be good. They were comfortable in the house. I wore them around quite a bit, like you're supposed to do.
Yeah, warm them up a little bit.
Yeah, break them in a little bit and don't wear them outside so that you can't really send them back or whatever. Everything was fine, and then I start to walk in them, and I feel like they're going to rub my pinky toes off.
Yeah, that sucks.
And in a time when, this connects to what we're talking about. You do want your toes to be able to spread out in your shoes. Like you can squat better if your toes are gripping. You can pull better if your toes are gripping.
Yeah.
If you're not all jammed together. That's why I think that lifting in chucks for a lot of people has been silly because you really can't expand your foot.
Yeah, they can be narrow. I don't think it's going to make or break your deadlift. There's people talking like you're going to add straight poundage to shit, which
no.
But you're obviously a wider base and everything is going to be more stable.
Yeah, not everything translates into numbers.
Yeah, that's how people are talking. People are going crazy with the shoe game.
Yeah, I know, 100%. I don't know,
crazy. But yeah, you just go New Balance, Hoka. There's a bunch of shoes out there that are fucking wide, not necessarily made for lifting, but
wide.
Yeah, that's probably why the little slipper game is real popular now too.
Yeah, that's basically the little deadlift slippers. Yeah.
Like it makes some sense.
Yeah, because it doesn't rain your toes in any uncomfortable way.
Yeah. I'm just not that particular about anything. To be honest, I'll deadlift whatever the fuck is in front of me.
I've never enjoyed deadlifting without shoes.
Yeah, I kind of like shoes. Yeah, slippers, I wore them one time. And they felt like kind of comfy because it does kind of feel like you're in the house, but I don't like love it. I don't hate it. I also just like hate having shoes everywhere and equipment everywhere. Like even just training with a belt now pisses me off. Just like equipment. I hate that. Maybe, I don't know what it has to do with anything, but I just hate having, like, needing shit to train all the time. And I can't, and part of it's because they are good tools. Like, it hurts to squat with no knee sleeves. Like, my knees fucking are grumpy.
Yeah.
So, like, I get them. I'm not saying they're useless, but it's just, like, traveling with that sucked.
Oh, yeah, traveling with belts is the worst.
Yeah, it's half my fucking luggage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trash.
I mean, it takes up so much space, and there, I don't know if there's ever been a TSA that understood what the fuck.
Yeah, that's why I always check it. There's just no way. Yeah, they're gonna look at you weird.
Yeah, but if you're going to a meet, you can't check that shit because
if you lose it, I don't know why. Do you think it's gotten better? I haven't lost a bag probably in like 15 years.
I hear that it's really bad right now. Well, over the summer it was really bad in Europe.
Really?
I don't know about everywhere else.
Yeah, I feel like
people were using air tags.
Really? Yeah, because I feel like they figured shit out. I remember as a kid we lost our baggage a couple times traveling around, but as an adult I've been pretty good. I try to check on when I can, or carry on, but fucking belts and weird shit, weird powders.
We were in San Diego over the summer, and we were down there with my grandkids, and we had pulled together a couple of booster seats so that we didn't have to rent them and whatever. And so we brought them home. They're stored at our house. But one of them, and you check them, right? But one of them didn't make it back when we got back. And we have a $250 flight credit for the whole fucking thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was cool of them then.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in the day they wouldn't say or do shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah, it seemed more than appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah, they can lose my shit.
Yeah, because I think the whole thing is worth probably $40. So
yeah, true.
Alrighty, let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, brand new episodes every single Wednesday, Friday. I'll see you in Discord, 50percentfacts.com to join the Discord, and I'm Solid Mike everywhere you want to find me.
I am at the Jim McD on all the social media. This show is 50% Facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next week.